Welcome back to One Piece in Review. This is episode number 60. This one I'm just reviewing just one thing, not usually two things. Usually I just review the newest episode of the anime, newest episode, new chapter of the manga. This one just viewing just newest episode of the anime, which is episode number 847, A Coincidental Reunion, Sanji and the Evil Pudding in Love. Yep. Yeah, the manga basically took a week off this week, so no new chapter. There'll probably be a new chapter later on this week, but there was not one released this past weekend, so nope. This episode adapts the last 3 pages of chapter 875, pages 15 and 17, and pages 2 to 12 of chapter 876. So simply, they finished adapting 75. That's finished. And they've gotten through most of chapter 876, so this will finish up by next week. This one picks up right where the last episode left off. Let's start with basically just a couple of perspectives for this episode. Actually, kind of like 3, but 2 of them actually sort of run into each other. Let's first start with Chopper and Brook, who in the Shark Submersible, they find the Sunny, they get to it, and they also see Paspro and Katakuri, who actually, prior to them showing up, sees and distance about the ending of the last episode when Zeus just uses lightning to simply blast a hole in the ground to knock Big Mom into it. They see that, and of course next they see them basically is when Brook and Chopper get to the ship, and they don't put the Shark Submersible inside the ship yet. Now, there's a good reason for this, because Big Mom soldiers are on the ship, so they can't exactly do it just yet. Though for some reason, they show when they get to this part, before I get to the actual fight, there's a fight on the ship. They take out like a valet mirror, I think it's Nami's mirror, and everybody like coming out of it, which is a little weird, to say the least. Yeah. So basically, Brook and Chopper get serious. Brook takes out his sword, and Chopper goes into his Kung Fu point. Basically, comes a little like ballish, and they both hop on the ship, and they simply just blast their way through Big Mom's soldiers. They take out pretty much a good chunk of them, and of course, Brook does something he has done since he fought Big Mom, basically go to a Soul King mode, and simply take out all Big Mom's soldiers, and then of course they take on a Knight, and they kind of beat him pretty easily. Like first, Brook just freezes armor, then freezes the ground, and then of course Chopper just fights him for a bit and knocks him off the ship. Simple. Yeah, it was a pretty brief fight, and I did like the fight. I did like what Brook did. I did like seeing the whole Soul King mode thing. That was really awesome to see. Heck, I agree with Chopper. It's an awesome sight to see. As for Luffy and the rest of the group, they continue running from Big Mom, and then they run into Clifton and Pudding, who were just simply went to go get Sanji because they need their help, because they need his help to bake the big humongous wedding cake that Luffy ruined in a few episodes back. So yeah, of course, Big Mom of course still attacking. Of course, she's going through the ground. Of course, she climbs out of the hole and her attack. Now Sanji almost misses basically getting Pudding, but he does grab the carpet, comes on board, and of course they go off and make the cake anyways. And everybody else just continue running. Now the way the teaser was like, are they gonna make it to the ship? Those who read the manga, yeah, they do. They make it to the ship. Takes them a little while. I think they get to it in just a couple chapters. Yeah, it doesn't take very long, but soon we're going to get a chance to see the big fight between Luffy and Katakuri, which will take up pretty much most of the remaining episodes of this particular season. Yes, that's my personal guess anyways. And that the following season will just be the Wano arc and, of course, Revere, which, yeah, that'll pretty much take up next season. Well, I gotta say, they actually show. I thought it was really nice. They actually show Brook and Chop actually arriving at the ship, because it'd be kind of weird. It's like, okay, they get to the ship and next thing seems like get closer and they you just pop up on the ship and just start fighting. Yeah, at least they show it. At least they expand upon stuff. They don't really change anything as far as I can tell. No. Thank you. Because mostly just adding stuff. Yep. That's simply what happens in this episode. But yeah, fantastic job. Can't wait for next week's episode, which is going to be airing the day after Comic-Con. Yep. Next week's episode, which hopefully will be the 913th chapter of the manga release by then, will be episode 848. It's called Save the Sunny, Fight Bravely, Chopper, and Brook. Yeah, that's next week's episode. Yep. Yeah, the whole thing of Benjamin basically trying to tell Clifton not to go pudding, but they tried to. They put that in, which is really nice. Pudding was supposed to not draw off. Basically, I gotta say the stuff they added for the anime makes perfect sense to do. Because I get the reason why they add stuff like this in the anime, because my guess is because Oda's always cramped for time when he does these things. Though from what I've heard, they put out like they had to make 3 chapters so we can put them out. Though he does take 1 week off to give him a break, which is nice. Yeah. So yeah. By far, this is just a really good episode, and probably the biggest highlight is Brook and Chopper getting into a brawl with Big Mom soldiers on the Sunny, which I should point out, though, not the first time that the ship has been basically boarded by enemy soldiers. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's been boarded by the Marines once the entire series. Yeah, once it's boarded by the Marines. A lot of the time, it's usually enemy soldiers, like other pirates, that come board the ship. Some of them have, but not all of them. Heck, it's happened in the film several times. In the show, I think the last time you actually had a villain pop up on the ship, I mean, in the 2 arcs back, Doflamingo briefly came onto the ship, but he never actually stepped foot on the ship. But he did see the ship, which is nice. Like, it seems like almost every single villain, or every single main villain in the franchise, when it comes to particular arcs, has had a chance to see or at least been on the ship itself. I would say the one who actually has never seen the 1000 is Crocodile. He's probably the only one I can think of who's never seen it. I think I'm trying to think what was his name? The guy who's main villain in the Skype arc. I think he has seen it. The 1000, but I don't think he's actually been on board it. No, as far as I can tell, he's never been on board it, but he's actually physically seen the ship. Robin's on the ship at least twice. Prior to becoming part of the crew, she was actually on the ship once. Yep, she was on the ship once. And she's by far the first member of the crew who's actually first started off as an antagonist before it became a member of the crew. The only other person to do that is Frankie, who was a sort of antagonist, but not the main antagonist of Warrior 7, but he was an antagonist with the crew before he joined the group. Yep. Yeah, it's too bad we actually are missing them. Oh, and the eye catcher for this episode, it's Brook and Chopper. Makes sense, because they are the highlights of this episode, while Luffy and everybody else just basically spend the whole episode running. Yeah, the whole episode is them running. They talk to some people, yes, but they basically spend most of it running. To Sunny, running away from Big Mom. Yeah, that's simply put this whole episode. Next episode is kind of going to be like that too, but also more fighting on the 1000, alright? So, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned soon for my review of the newest episode of My Hero Academia and New Chapter Manga. Okay? Excuse me. But to see you all there. Bye.